What is going on, guys? It is April 13th. We just finished up the Atlanta 2 race, crazy racing, and I don't usually talk about the race, but things are going off on social media, and I'm gonna reach up and grab that low-hanging fruit. This is usually the kind of video that my buddy Johnny Hopper covers. I'm sure that he will. But what I want to talk about today is Cameron McAdoo and his ridiculous crash, and that they red flagged the race, and that he was still able to race. So I just want to give my opinions. Now, first off, Cameron McAdoo, absolute badass. I cannot imagine going through that crash, one, just going through the crash in general, two, getting up, him being perfectly level-headed. He went through the whole crash. He obviously was, or not obviously, but he sure seemed to be fine, lining up and then getting third against the best 250 riders on the, the East Coast, the West Coast, on the East Coast. You guys know what I mean, though. So nothing against Cameron. Amazing. He did everything he could. He was like, let me race. I'm good to go. You can probably hear Ezra over there. He wasn't very happy with the whole situation. I think he's a Webb fan. But so nothing against Cameron. He wanted to race. They let him race. He lined up and raced. He didn't do anything wrong. The AMA is who I think was in the wrong. So where I'm seeing this, Cameron McAdoo crashes, right? He's in a bad spot where they can't get to him. He's down on the ground. Riders are going by, Cooper goes by and laps him, and Lawrence goes by. All the racers, all the people on the coast go by. You can name them yourself. Meanwhile, he's sitting on the side of the track, and seems to be out of it. He's adjusting himself and sitting up against the tough block. If that had been just, say, a yellow flag, they're just waving it, and a medical flag, and then he eventually is like, okay, I'm good, I can get on my bike and ride. He's about 2 laps down. So Cooper, who's already in front of him, has went back around the track, passed him, back around the whole track, passed him again, right? You guys know how lappers work. McAdoo would get back on his bike if this were a yellow flag. He's 2 laps down, so he can continue the race, but he's gonna be in dead last. Maybe he'll end up in 20th, 19th, 18th, get himself 1 or 2 points. However, they red flag the race, everyone stops, and with it being such a long lap, since it was 3 laps for them to do a staggered start, they hadn't hit that yet. So they go to the normal starting line with the gate, and everyone is back at square one. So McAdoo should have been about 2 laps, maybe just 1 lap, but 1 to 2 laps behind everyone else. Now they restart, he's able to catch his breath, get back up, get cleared, which I don't know what that entails. Because with that gnarly of a crash, I was worried about his head, and I realized that Doc Bodner, I think that's how you say it, in the Alpine medical crew, they were like, yeah, he's good, but how much of an evaluation were they actually able to do just on the side of the track? They're just like, what, follow my finger, you're good to go. I mean, it's not really enough, in my opinion, and I really hope Cameron is okay after all that. But if he had a brain bleed or something, I don't know, I'm not a medical expert, obviously. If he had something like that going on, then that could have, been really, really bad. Or if he was concussed and then he goes out there and crashes again and really messes himself up. Thank goodness that didn't happen. But they let him, not let him, but he gets to catch his breath. He gets back on the gate, and now he's right back there with Justin Cooper, battling for the championship. They take off, they're back at square one. So that's where I'm saying it's not fair. Did Cameron make an amazing race and he did a great job? Absolutely. Did he break any rules? Not that I know of. But there should be a rule where the AMA, if you are the rider who caused a red flag, you crash in the whoops, you crash like McAdoo did, they wave a red flag because of you and you need assistance off the track, you shouldn't then be allowed to get another chance at the race. Calling it like a mulligan, essentially a do-over, it's a golf term, not that I golf, but he got a do-over. He crashes, the riders are still going by, he's looking at being out of the race like Mumford was, just totally out. No points, maybe 1 point or whatever. Instead, they re-rack the gate. He gets a whole second chance at the race, and then he comes out third. So good on him, but that's just where I'm coming from, is that so this is going to be extreme, but this is what you call a slippery slope. So McAdoo goes down and he gets the red flag and he gets to restart, gets another chance at it. Let's say Justin Cooper goes down in a corner. He just falls over in a corner. He gets the yellow flag. Maybe his leg is stuck under his bike. The whole field goes by. He's in last place. Well, now he has to go from last place all the way back up instead of a complete restart. So what if a rider now crashes and they're like, I'm just going to lay on the ground, pretend that I'm really hurt so I get a red flag. And you might say, come on, DeeO, we're not soccer players, we're motocross racers. People do weird things in extreme circumstances. I know people hate Olszewski, but remember when he stood on Tedesco's bike and tried to hit the kill switch? When you're in that crazy mode, all that adrenaline, you might do something stupid like that. You might crash and not be as bad as McAdoo, but you're like, I'm just gonna lay here and hope I get a red flag. That way we can all go back and I can get a restart, because if I only get a yellow flag, I'm gonna be in last place and I'm gonna have to catch everyone. I mean, I realize that's an extreme, super extreme circumstance, but it could lead to that. So that's why there needs to be a rule, like if you cause the red flag, you don't get the second chance. And that would just squash that whole situation of someone, you know, abusing the system to get that restart. Just picture yourself, you're out there, you're leading the race, you're 2 laps ahead of a guy, he crashes, well, okay, he crashes and then you're 2 laps ahead of him, and they're like, all right, hold up. This guy's gonna be, actually, he's gonna catch up. You guys are even again, so just do it over again. And you're like, well, what did I do all that for? Like, I don't know. I was going back and forth with people on Instagram, and people are like, well, life's not fair, kid. Well, I guess only one person said that. And it's like, I realize that, but this is racing where there should be rules and regulations, and it shouldn't just be, yeah, just line them back up and give it another go. So I don't know. Again, I just want to reiterate, I'm not taking anything away from McAdoo. He didn't do anything wrong. If they cleared him and the rules don't state that he can't do that, whatever. But I know there were other professional riders, and even Ryan Hughes, which him and his whole neck brace thing and knee brace thing, you guys know I wear all that. I never agree with that guy. And he was saying the same things I was agreeing with. Other racers on Twitter and stuff, just like, how is he even allowed to race after causing the red flag? I know I'm not alone, but I know it was a very hot topic. So I just kind of made this video so maybe I'd get a few extra clicks and get some of that ad revenue. I'll be straight up with you guys. So let me know down in the comments what you thought about it. Should there be a rule where if you cause the red flag, you don't get to race, or were his heroic efforts worth it, I guess? But that's just my thoughts and opinions on it. I'm just spewing this all out there, and man, props to him, but that was a scary crash. Like, good thing he didn't fall off the side of the bridge or where his feet hooked. If they hadn't hooked and he shot like a trebuchet and just went up and over the over-under bridge, could have been even worse. It was terrible, could have been even worse. After another tweet from Tevin Tapia about the rule book, I started digging into it some, and his tweet is referring to section B, which is when the race is stopped with 3 laps completed and less than 90% of the total distance. So that would have been the staggered start. In that part of the rule book, there is a stipulation that, let me read it word for word. Riders who were no longer actively participating in race at time when the red flag was displayed are not authorized to take part in the restart. So if that was the situation with McAdoo, seems like he wouldn't be able to race. However, in section A is when the race is stopped with fewer than 3 laps, which is the instance we are in, and there's no such mention of racers not being allowed. So it seems like if it's more than 3 laps, McAdoo wouldn't have been allowed, but since it's less than 3 and he caused the red flag, or not even caused it, but was no longer racing during the red flag, he still would have been able to. So it seems like there's not a rule about it prior to the 3 laps. However, there are after the 3 laps. But thank you guys for clicking on this. Thanks for your comments. Appreciate y'all. And as always, until next time, take it easy. If it's easy, take it twice. Talk to you later.